supernormal knowledge. Supramundane consciousness. Lokuttara Citta. Lokuttara Cittas may be acquired by vipassana, or insight meditation. There are two ways of getting to the path consciousness, magga-jnana. They are, number one, vipassana yanika. Vipassana yanika, which means taking insight meditation as the vehicle. The second method is samatha yanika, which means taking tranquility meditation as the vehicle. A person may first develop the neighborhood concentration, or upachara samadhi, by tranquility meditation, which means samatha bhavana, and then proceed to insight meditation, vipassana bhavana. Here, the person is using upachara samadhi as the base of his wisdom eye for looking into the ultimate materiality, or nama rupa, and their common characteristics of impermanence, or anicca, suffering, or dukkha, and not self, or anatta. This person, if successful to the end, will acquire the four paths and the four fruitions. So in this route, there are only 8 supramundane cittas, namely the 4 Lokuttara Cittas, or supramundane moral consciousnesses, and the 4 Lokuttara Vipaka Cittas, or supramundane resultant consciousnesses. Now, in the second route, a person first develops a jhana samadhi, or absorption concentration, by tranquility meditation, and uses this concentration as the base of his insight meditation. If he uses the first jhana samadhi as his base, his first path consciousness is also accompanied by the first jhana samadhi. So it is known as the first jhana sotapatti path consciousness. Similarly, for a person who uses the second jhana samadhi as his base for insight meditation, his first path consciousness is known as the second jhana sotapatti path consciousness. In the same way, for persons who use the third jhana samadhi, the fourth jhana samadhi, and the fifth jhana samadhi, respectively, as the base for their insight meditation, their first path consciousness will be known as the third jhana sotapatti path consciousness, the fourth jhana sotapatti path consciousness, and the fifth jhana sotapatti path consciousness, respectively. So there are 5 sotapatti path consciousnesses. In other words, we are multiplying sotapatti path consciousness with 5 rupavacara jhanas. In the same way, there are 5 sakadagami path consciousnesses, 5 anagami path consciousnesses, and 5 arahata path consciousnesses. Thus, the total number of path consciousnesses is 20. As the fruition immediately follows the path without any lapse in time, there are also 20 fruition consciousnesses. Thus, in the samatha yanika route, there are altogether 40 types of supramundane consciousnesses. Supramundane moral consciousness. Lokuttara Cittas. Basically, there are 4 Lokuttara Cittas as acquired in the vipassana yanika route. They are sotapatti magga-cittam, sakadagami magga-cittam, anagami magga-cittam, and arahata magga-cittam. Meanings. Sotapatti path consciousness means consciousness belonging to the path of stream entry. Sakadagami path consciousness means consciousness belonging to the path of once returning. Anagami path consciousness means consciousness belonging to the path of never returning. Arahata path consciousness means consciousness belonging to the path of arahantship. Since each of these four basic path consciousnesses can associate with 5 Rupavacara jhanas in turn, there are 20 jhana path consciousnesses which are realized in Samatha Yanika route. 5 jhana sotapatti magga-cittas. Number 1. Vitaka vichara piti sukha ekagata sahitam patamajana sotapatti magga-cittam. Number 2. Vichara piti sukha ekagata sahitam dutayajana sotapatti magga-cittam. Number 3. Piti sukha ekagata sahitam tatiyajana sotapatti magga-cittam. Number 4. Sukha ekagata sahitam chatu ajana sotapatti magga-cittam. Number 5. Upekka ekagata sahitam pancha majana sotapatti magga-cittam. Meanings. Number 1. The first jhana sotapatti path consciousness, together with initial application, sustained application, joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 2. The second jhana sotapatti path consciousness, together with sustained application, joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 3. The third jhana sotapatti path consciousness, together with joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 4. The fourth jhana sotapatti path consciousness, together with bliss and one-pointedness. Number 5. The fifth jhana sotapatti path consciousness, together with equanimity and one-pointedness. The 5 sakadagami path consciousnesses, the 5 anagami path consciousnesses, and the 5 arahata path consciousnesses are named similarly. Supramundane resultant consciousness, Lokuttara Vipaka Citta. Basically, there are 4 Lokuttara Vipaka Cittas as the fruitions of the 4 Lokuttara Kusala Cittas. These 4 types of supramundane resultant consciousnesses are realized in the Vipassana Yanika route. Number 1. Sotapatti phala-cittam. Number 2. Sakadagami phala-cittam. Number 3. Anagami phala-cittam. Number 4. Arahata phala-cittam. Meanings. Number 1. Sotapatti fruit consciousness means consciousness belonging to the fruition of stream entry. Number 2. Sakadagami fruit consciousness means consciousness belonging to the fruition of once returning. Number 3. Anagami fruit consciousness means consciousness belonging to the fruition of never returning. Number 4. Arahata fruit consciousness means consciousness belonging to the fruition of arahatship. Again, each of these 4 basic fruit consciousnesses can associate with 5 Rupavacara jhanas in turn, giving rise to 20 fruit consciousnesses in all. These are realized in Samatha Yanika route. The names of 5 jhana arahata fruit consciousness are described below as examples. 5 jhana arahata phala-cittas. Number 1. Vitaka vichara piti sukha ekagata sahitam patamajana arahata phala-cittam. Number 2. Vichara piti sukha ekagata sahitam dutiya jana arahata phala-cittam. Number 3. piti sukha ekagata sahitam tatiya jhana arahata phala-cittas. Number 4. Sukha ekagata sahitam chatua jhana arahata phala-cittas. Number 5. Upekka ekagata sahitam panchamajana arahata phala-cittas. Meanings. Number 1. The first jhana, arahata fruit consciousness, together with initial application, sustained application, joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 2. The second jhana, arahata fruit consciousness, together with sustained application, joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 3. The third jhana, arahata fruit consciousness, together with joy, bliss, and one-pointedness. Number 4. The fourth jhana, arahata fruit consciousness, together with bliss and one-pointedness. Number 5. The fifth jhana, arahata fruit consciousness, together with equanimity and one-pointedness.